Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Omkar Kurade and today I will be presenting on my internship conclusion project. So I will be talking about what I did throughout the internship, what I've developed, what I've understood, whatever I've learned. So during my full stack web development internship, I developed an online food ordering web application using MERN STACK. So this project helped me understand how modern web applications are built from front end to back end, including database management and API communication. In this presentation, I'll explain what I learned, how I implemented those concepts, and finally, I'll demonstrate the project. Now, let's go through the internship overview. So in this full stack development internship, before starting the internship, I knew programming concepts like Java and Python, but had never built a complete web application. So during this internship, I learned how different technologies work together uh, to create a real world application. Apart from coding, I also improved my debugging skills, learned how to use Git for version control, and understood how software projects are organized. So, okay, this is the basic overview. Also, the key learning areas were front-end development, then back-end API development, database management, and client-server communication. In next slide, we would see the project overview. So, in this project, we would see the project name, purpose, and scope. So the project name was simple food ordering web application, or also we could call it as food project app. It is a MERN-based web application which is built as a part of full stack web development internship. Its main purpose were to provide user with an easy way to browse restaurants and food menus, display detailed information about restaurant and food items. So app provides a very concise, clear UI by which users could easily navigate and interact and search for different restaurants and their menus. Next is delivering a smooth, responsive user experience. As I told, the UI and UX was very simple and easy to understand. Managing data efficiently using robust backend and database. As we have used Node and Express in backend and MongoDB for database, so managing this was the main purpose. Next, when we look at scope, we can view a very different list of restaurants. Users can view details of restaurants. The details includes reviews and ratings of restaurants by which users could categorize different restaurants. User can view menu items and the details. Data is managed using REST APIs and MongoDB. The application is responsive and user friendly. So this is the basic overview of our web application. In the next slide, we will also be looking at the technology stack like MongoDB, Express, React, and Node. So let's move on to the next slide. So in tech stack, we have seen we have made three major components, which is for a front end we use React.js. So let's start with React. So React is a JavaScript library which is used for building user interfaces. One thing I learned is that React is based on components. So instead of writing one huge HTML page, we divide the interface into small reusable components. For example, the navigation bar, restaurant cards, footer, and menu section are all separate components. React also updates only the parts of page that change, making the application faster and improving the user experience. I also learned React Router for navigation between pages and Redux Toolkit for managing application state. React made my front end more organized, reusable, and easy to maintain. And next I will see Node.js and Express. So Node.js is a runtime environment that allows JavaScript to run on server instead of only inside the browser. Without Node.js, JavaScript would only work on the front end. On top of Node.js, I use Express.js. Express is a backend framework that makes it easier to build APIs and manage requests. For example, when a user wants to see restaurant list, React sends a request to an Express API. Now Express receives the request, processes it, retrieves the data from MongoDB, and sends the response back to React. I've learned how to create routes, controllers, middlewares, and REST APIs using Express. Now next is our main database, which is MongoDB. So MongoDB is a NoSQL database, which unlike SQL databases that store data in tables and rows, MongoDB stores data as flexible JSON-like document. I chose MongoDB because it works naturally with JavaScript objects, making it easier to connect with Node.js and React. In my project, MongoDB stores restaurant details, menu information, and user-related data. I've learned how to create collections, insert data, retrieve data, update records, and connect the database with backend using Mongoose. This gave me practical experience in handling databases in real application. So this was the technology stack that we have used in our project. Now let's look at the application features. Now the features include user registration and logging. So our app, our food online food delivery app provides a secure sign up and login using JWT authentication, which creates JWT token on every successful user registration sign up. Then browse menu, user could explore menus from different restaurants with categories, item details, and the images. Then we have add to cart option, that selected items user could add into cart and dynamically the price would be calculated. And last is placing the orders. Now the next is the main, we say, architecture and workflow of a program or code. So this diagram shows how the application works internally. It's a very simple diagram. First, the user opens the React application. Now suppose the user wants to view restaurants. So React would send an HTTP request using AXJS. That request reaches the Express server. Now what Express would do? Express processes the request and asks MongoDB for required data. MongoDB returns the restaurant information. Express converts it into a JSON response and sends it back. Finally, React receives the data and displays it on the screen. It's a very simple workflow. Understanding this complete communication between front-end, back-end, and database was one of my biggest learning during the internship. Now in next slide, we will record the key learnings. The key learnings were full stack web development skill. I gained hands-on experience in MongoDB, Express.js, React.js, Node.js to build complete web application from front-end to back-end. A real-world project experience, worked on live food ordering project, applying software development lifecycle, problem solving and deployment in real environment, and professional development practices. These were the key learnings. In next slide, I would say, in conclusion, I would like to say, I will also like to state about the challenges I faced throughout internships. So during development, I faced several challenges. Initially, connecting the front end with the back end was difficult because API routes and responses were not working correctly. I also encountered MongoDB connection errors and Redux state management issues. Instead of giving up, I debugged each problem step by step using browser developer tools, Postman, and console logs. These challenges helped me become more confident in solving real-world software development problems. Now in conclusion, I would like to say overall, this internship gave me practical experience in full stack web development. I learned not only theory behind the MERN stack but also how to apply it in real world project. I understood how front-end, back-end APIs and database work together to create modern web application. This internship improved my technical skills, problem-solving abilities and confidence in building complete web application. So thank you for listening. Now in the next steps or further, I will demonstrate the working of my food ordering web application. Until then, thank you. Okay, so now we are into our root folder, that is a food project app. This is our two main folders, that is backend and front end, and we also have a database files. So let's start a backend by using npm start. Okay, a backend is starting. We'll wait until it connects to a database. Okay, so it's connected to database. A backend is started successfully. Now let's start our front end by using npm run dev. Okay, so front end has also started. We could copy this link, Control C, and move on to the browser. Okay, so we are on to a front end of our app. We could see the different restaurants listed in our apps. This one, they currently have 9 restaurants. Here we could see the pure page restaurants, whichever are the veg ones. We could sort them by the reviews. All have almost same reviews, so that's fine. Then we could also sort them by their ratings. Okay. Now we could see options like here delete and add restaurants, because I have logged in through an email which has a role of admin in the database. So because of which I could dynamically add and delete restaurants. We could see that later. Also, I could search for a restaurant, like if I enter KFC. See, I could get KFC. I see its reviews. Now, when I click on this, see, I could be directed to its menus. You could see the different items listed into its menu. We could view those items. Different items are here. We could click on the items. Okay, let's go back. If I click on Empire Restaurants, okay, let's first log in with a normal email. We have login through. We were first login by using the admin mail, so we log in using a normal mail, which we could enter. Or let's create a new user. For example, my name is Chaitanya. Email remains the same. Okay, here we enter the phone number. Okay. Then we could register. Okay, so the phone number is not proper. So we have successfully registered. Now we cannot see that options like add and delete restaurants. This is because this has only a role of user. Let's go into a restaurant. We could see we have the different menus. Now here we have options like add to cart. We could add different items into a cart. Let's add this to a cart. We could also increase and decrease the quantity. We would add this to a cart. Okay, so these items are added, and we could also navigate all through the menu and experience different categories like starters, main course, and bread. So this UI is very easy to navigate. Now let's move on to a cart. See, now we could see the items that we've added earlier into a cart. These are the two items. The price is also calculated here dynamically. Let's move on checking out. When you click on checkout, you would be directed to the payment as we have used Stripe here. So Stripe uses it for use Stripe API for live payment. Here we will enter city, we enter pin and all, enter state as sample with HANA. We've entered a mobile number. You could enter your card details. We are entering just random something. Okay. So when you click on pay, let's see if our order gets processed or not. Okay, yeah. So this says your order has been placed successfully. Now when you go to orders, you could see your order placed here. You could see the items, amount, status, the date. When you click on action and view, see you could see the order ID generated, the information, the address, amount, status of payment, and order status also here. So this is the basic UI of our cart and payment system. When you click on profile, we could also update our profile. See here, profile could be updated using edit profile. You could change name. It's a very easy UI for updating. We'll keep it as it is for now. Okay, we could go back to our main page by clicking on order, this logo. So this is a simple UI of an app. We could sort by reviews or sort by rating as I mentioned earlier. So this is the basic UI of an app and whatever I've implemented throughout this project. Okay, so I also made this AI recipe generator in which we've used Grok's API and in which we could enter our different ingredients or whatever you want to make, and according to that a recipe would be generated by AI. So let's also look at it. So if I would say I want, I'll just give ingredients like onion, besan, oil, potato, curd, Okay, I'll ask it to generate the recipe. See, it has given a simple recipe. What is that? I don't know. Batata and chevda, spicy potato and gram flour fritters. So we've got a response. So also integrated AI into our app, which could definitely help us build a stronger and AI integrated projects further. So this is all whatever we have implemented throughout the internship and my project. I'm really thankful for all of you to watch this and coordinate with me. Thank you at the end.